It's been 5 years since I made a shop tour video, and since that last tour, I've made a significant number of updates to the shop. Recently, I completed my annual deep cleaning of the space, and it probably won't be this clean again until this time next year. So I thought, maybe it's time for an updated shop tour. The shop takes up most of a 2-car garage with a usable floor space of approximately 580 square feet. The space is approximately 28 feet wide from wall to wall at its widest point. The left bay of the shop, where most of my work is done, is 24 feet deep from the garage door to the back wall. In the right bay, a portion of the space is taken up by the stairs to the main floor of the house and a small storage closet underneath those stairs. Immediately inside the right garage door is where we keep our portable generator. We live in a pretty rural area in the southern Appalachian Mountains, so we lose power at least once or twice a year, usually for several days at a time. This generator won't run our whole house, but connected to a transfer switch, we can run our well pump, kitchen refrigerator, basement freezer, and a couple of 15-amp circuits for lights and internet, allowing me to continue to work remotely even when we don't have grid power. Beside the generator is a 25-year-old Craftsman rolling tool chest. This is where I keep general tools like screwdrivers, wrenches, sockets, and specialty tools for working on our family's vehicles, lawn and garden equipment, and other odds and ends. I don't keep any tools that touch wood in here, but anything for working metal or for making adjustments to machines is housed in this chest. Next to the tool chest is a Makita portable air compressor. It's an oil-filled compressor, which allows it to run much quieter and cooler than oilless models, and it still works like new even after 10 years of pretty hard use. On the wall beside the compressor is a project I built several years ago for hanging coats and storing hats, gloves, and scarves. It's made from reclaimed American chestnut and was a really fun project that was assembled mostly with stop tapered sliding dovetails. I'll leave a link to the project build video down in the description. On the floor below the coats is a boot tray for chore boots and outdoor work shoes. Not very interesting. In the middle of the right bay is the table saw. In my last shop tour, I was considering getting rid of the table saw as it was a Delta contractor saw from the home center that I wasn't super happy with. However, I've been building a lot of plywood cabinets since then. So I decided to upgrade the table saw to a SawStop PCS with a 36-inch fence. Now that I have it, I end up using it a lot more than I thought I would. The outfeed table was built from plywood, pine, and cherry scraps I had kicking around the shop. The design was inspired by one built by Mark Spagnolo. I like the cubby he made for his crosscut sled, so I included that feature in mine. The top is solid 1.5-inch thick white pine left over from building our log house, covered with a high-pressure laminate and edged with scrap cherry. In the outfeed table drawers, I keep all my table saw accessories, precision measuring tools for machine setup, machine and power tool manuals, sanders, pneumatic nailers and staplers, power planer and jigsaw, and some random jigs and fixtures. At the back end of the right bay is my drilling area. The drill press is an old Jet 17-inch model that I restored about 5 years ago. Prior to restoring this, I had a benchtop Delta. I'd like to make an auxiliary table for it with a fence and replaceable insert, but I've been using a drill press without one for 35 years, so apparently it's a project that's just low on the priority list for me. On the wall next to the drill press is a small cabinet I knocked together from some plywood scraps to hold drill bits, cordless drills, a battery charger, and accessories. It's mounted too high for me to see inside the drawer, so I have to take the drawer out to get to the stuff inside of it. It's not ideal, but I'm not motivated enough to redesign and rebuild it. Also on this wall is a small lumber rack for boards up to about 6 feet long, and a bin for small scrap bits of wood that I'm not ready to relegate to the wood stove. Back between the garage doors is where I have the bandsaw. This provides plenty of infeed and outfeed space, but keeps the saw out of the way in an area that few other tools could occupy and still be useful. Moving over to the other side of the shop, immediately inside the left garage door, I have a Grizzly router table. As you can see from the parts piled on top of it, the router table hardly ever gets used. However, it comes in handy when I'm batching out cabinet doors, which is what these parts are here, so I keep it around for now. Next to the router table is a small French-style workbench that I built in 2018. If you've seen any of my videos in the last 5 to 6 years, you've seen me using this workbench. Prior to that time, I used an English-style workbench that I built in 2009. I have an entire playlist dedicated to building the English workbench that I'll link to in the video description below. The English workbench has since been retired, disassembled, and recycled for reasons that you'll see in a minute. The French workbench is currently being used as a lathe stand, and it works well for this because it's nice and heavy. However, it's a bit too tall for turning, so I have plans to modify it to enclose the base and make it shorter so that the lathe is at a more appropriate height for me. Under the French bench, I keep some handheld power tools and chair-making appliances. To the right of the lathe is a small cupboard with an 8-inch Rikon bench grinder. I have a crown CBN wheel from Tools for Working Wood mounted on the right side, and a 4-in-1 CBN wheel from Woodturner's Wonders mounted on the left. I use the Wolverine tool rest system for lathe tools as well as chisels and plane irons. The cupboard stores accessories for the grinder, as well as some overflow bits and bobs that I couldn't find anywhere else to put. Alongside the grinder is the sharpening bench. I built this little bench about 12 or 13 years ago, and it works fine as a sharpening bench, but I would like to have some drawers and maybe a cabinet below to get more items off the bench top. I have plans to replace this with a dry sink style cabinet that I think will be much more functional. The wall behind the sharpening bench is covered in oak tongue and groove boards, upon which I've hung tills for my handsaws and hand planes. I have a build video for the hand plane till that I'll link to below. Prior to building these, I had my saws and planes in an English tool chest, and I really didn't like working out of that chest because everything always seemed to be a mess. I like having the saws and planes on the wall much better, and I've been very happy with this setup after using it for the last 3 years. To the right of the sharpening bench is a chimney cupboard I built in 2013 for an article in Popular Woodworking magazine. I store all my finishes, solvents, glues, and other such accoutrements in this cabinet. Moving further down the wall is a mobile clamp cart. This cart easily stores all of my clamps, though it isn't exactly easy to move it around once it's fully loaded. Bigger, beefier casters would probably help, but it's not really a priority at the moment. The door next to the clamp cart goes to the utility room, so there's nothing exciting to see in there. The back wall of this bay is a bit unorganized at the moment. I have portable toolboxes with carpentry and electrical tools here, as well as some overflow lumber that's too big for the lumber rack. I also have a benchtop mortiser that I restored that needs a more permanent home. At some point, I'll probably build a bank of cabinets to go along this wall with a countertop where I can put the mortiser. In the corner is where the dust collector lives. This is a 3-horse unit that runs on 240 volt. For the first few years that I had this unit, I used to wheel it around from tool to tool. But it's kind of a big unit to move around, especially in the middle of a larger project where there's typically less floor space available in the shop to move it around to. So I finally parked it in this corner and ran 6-inch ductwork to the few machines that I have. And I've been very happy with the setup since installing the ductwork. Along the small center wall dividing the 2 garage bays, opposite the table saw, is a 12-inch joiner planer combo. I used to have the DeWalt 735 benchtop planer, and it was a good unit, but as my limited time in the shop becomes more valuable and my body continues to get older, I really tired of processing large volumes of lumber by hand before putting it through the planer. So I replaced the DeWalt with this machine, and I've been really happy with it. Finally, we come to the centerpiece of the shop. This is my newest addition, and so far I absolutely love it. While I may have more machines in the shop than I did when I first started making videos in 2008, the Workbench is still my most important and most used tool because I still do a lot of work with hand tools. The top of this new Workbench is 10 feet long and 30 inches across. It has drawers for small tool storage and a cabinet for storage of larger appliances and fixtures. It has a planing stop, a leg vise, and a tail vise, so there's no work that I can't hold securely. And as big as this thing is, it's pretty much completely immovable. I'll be making a separate video that goes into a lot more detail on the Workbench, so I won't spend any more time on it now. Look for a more detailed video on the Workbench in the next few weeks. For now, thanks so much for watching. I wish you all a happy and healthy 2025, and I'll see you next time.